show that tackles the big issues affecting the BVI and the rest of the Caribbean. Searches for answers to today's big questions and gives viewers a unique perspective on developing stories. Follow the big story with me, Kathy Richards, only on GTV. This show is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Ramney Tertola Pier Park, NV Salon Spa Nail and Barbershop, HOV Medical, and Digicel. Sign up for Digicel Plus Home Light Bundles, faster internet, movies, and sports. This is The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this edition. In studio with me is one that we call the Sportsman. Greenaway, and the Dean is celebrating a really significant milestone in his life, and we ought to celebrate whenever we make these major accomplishments. Dean, first of all, I want to say congratulations to you. You stuck to it. Your voice is one that is uncomparable. No one has that pitch that you have, and no one knows the sports the way that you do in these Virgin Islands. And so right now you're 30 years old.
Thank you, Kathy. If somebody had told me 29 and 11 and 5/8 years ago, I would have been celebrating 30 years in radio as a sportscaster on November 1st, I would tell them they were crazy, because I had no interest in radio. How a lot of this started. When I came home from college, I started writing commentary. Everybody know what I do now, but we didn't have social media and all that. I started writing and social commentary. Everybody think I want to be a politician, but I had planned my retirement when I was 21, before I had a job, I know what I wanted to do. So, yeah, I planned my retirement. So I was writing with the Beacon, I was doing sports. No, I was writing social commentary. First District Representative, Honorable Carl Dawson, was the sports writer. Oh. He left in 1986 to go to the University of the West Indies. And they asked me if I would be interested in doing sports. Oh. I told them, of course, because then I was writing, I was still competing. I competed up until 1994. And I was doing that, and then, you realize that, from my vision, I saw that I was writing for the Beacon, as I said. It was a weekly paper. And I saw that a lot of things were happening in sports where you needed a more daily coverage. And then in 1999, I approached the Daily News. So I started writing in the Daily News. You have stuff coming. And then I got up and I said one time, let me approach the radio stations. I wrote both Z-Rod and ZBVI. Had a meeting with Z-Rod, with Rodney of Z-Rod. And, my pitch was, I'm going to send you this thing for your on-air personnel to do it. You will have an email with whatever going on. You will get your updates. And then he turned at me and go, why don't you come and do it? And I was like, well, first of all, I said, no, not me. Because I don't see myself being nothing in no radio. But the thing was, this was the 22nd of October, 1994. And he wanted me to start like the Monday. This was the 22nd. This was a Wednesday. He said, oh yeah, you could come in and start Monday. I said, no. So I got him to put it back to November 1st. Okay. So that's how I debuted on air. But I had to find a name. So I was searching for a name. And back then now, there were no computers. I used to handwrite my stories and take them into the Beacon.
Yes, back those days,
Okay?
yeah, so writing your scripts.
I came from that, okay? I walked into the Beacon the Tuesday, and as I walk in, one of the reporters go, "Here comes the sportsman." I say, "Yes!
There goes your
that's
name.
it, Dean the Sportsman Greenaway." And that's how we came about.
Nice,
So
nice.
I honestly, they tell me they're going to train me and this. I'm still waiting for the training.
You know what? The hands-on experience, you got the training, you know. That hands-on experience is the biggest training that you could have ever had.
Well,
are we in the same kind of industry? I mean, I'm in it more longer than you.
I don't realize
that.
No, but
Yeah.
what I think was easy though, perhaps what Rodney saw in me was the fact that I was already writing. I was already doing interviews.
Yeah.
So it was, but like I said, I didn't see myself presenting sport. And to be able to say I'm doing it for 30 years, to be able to say I am hosting the Sports Beat magazine for 27 years. I have been in journalism. This month marks 38 years. Longevity.
Longevity. What has been the highlight for you especially in the sports, because we're so familiar with you doing sports. What has been the highlight for you over these years?
I never thought of it, you know.
Yeah?
No, because, I mean, when I'm writing, I'm doing photography. When I'm doing photography, I have to edit my content. I have to go find content. So I have never really sat down and thought on that, because what I'm always doing is looking at who to feature, what to feature. Look, I have moved, like before, I think about in 2005 or something like that, I started moving away from featuring just the winners, but start to look at other people to feature.
Who are competing
So,
still.
because what I was seeing is kids were meeting me along the street. And I remember somebody met me in the supermarket and they asked me, "When are you going to put them in the newspaper?" And I'm like, "Me?" I say, you mix me up. Man tell me, "No, you're Dean the Sportsman Greenaway." It's a little kid.
Yeah.
You know, and then one time I went to cover Mr. Molyneux. This guy used to build these humongous coal pits. I was coming back up the road with my wife and daughter, and I tell them, "Well, I'm going in here, go take a picture of some kids playing baseball." And then I decided to do the whole team. Before I took the picture, one kid came to me and he go, "You putting this in the island, son?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I said, "I go Joy Samuel School. I want my friends to see me." When I lined him up, he went in the front of the picture and he lay down on the ground. So what I did was I started telling the associations that, hey, these young people are hungry to be seen.
Yes, yes.
And I don't think...
It's a motivator for
Yes,
them. Yeah.
I don't think people understand that. And you asked me a highlight. Now that you said that,
That's the highlight.
no. When I was president of the Athletic Association, I introduced the Athletes Awards Gala. Okay? That January, on January 3rd, 2010, for the 2029 season, I pulled up under the Taman Tree by the A.O. Shirley grounds. And an athlete came to me, excuse me, Mr. Greenaway, can I ask you a question? You're going to have the award thingy at the end of the year again? I tell you, well, if I'm president, we're going to have it. Athlete went off running. That athlete was Kyron McMaster.
Oh, wow.
So what I'm saying is the motivation that he got recognized. He see these things. And at that time, I saw in track and field, after we did the awards, how the whole sport changed in terms of recognizing. So those are things that I do. So I found myself as a journalist, sportscaster, photographer, writer, being able now to pull all these things together and do things.
One of the biggest questions I am oftentimes faced with, and I bet that it's something that you were faced with as well as doing journalism, is where do you find time to do all these things and still take care of it? Do you get rest? Are you able to go to the gym? Do you have time for your family? Because we see you everywhere. I think it's something that you get,
Kelvin
right?
Titley, but behind me about television, doing sports and me, I want to go on the reef. I want to go on the beach. Okay? Because the thing is, with sports, I can record my stuff in the morning, send it to the radio station, and I have the rest of my day to do whatever. I schedule, because everything is about time. So I know, everybody tell me I come to sports late. I said, well, my work begin after the game done.
Yeah.
Because the people who are playing the sport are going to give me their side of the story. The people will tell me, oh, I go in my camera, did you catch this play? I said, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a certain level of action. Okay? So when I go to a game, I want to talk to both sides to hear their story. And then I have to go now and produce this and edit this to fit into a program. Now, like I said, I wasn't planned for that with radio.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been doing for 30 years.
So if you're to go at it for another 30, what would be that thing that you would continue to do, or would you introduce something new?
This is my retirement job. Kathy, when I was 21, I planned my retirement before I had a job and knew what I wanted to do. I saw a man, Mr. Carrie Penn in East End. I know the man to be an active man. When he retired, he went home and sat down in a chair, and he deteriorated. In a few years, he was dead. So I saw that, and I said, okay, I looked at what I like doing. When I get in my 40s, I was going to start writing. But I came home, and I think Black Boy, he used to play basketball. He's along the street. I used to tell people, you know, when I came from States, we don't have anybody begging along the thing. And I came home and I met him in the soil of George's Plaza, and he begged me for money. He was one of my classmates at the Eastern Primary School, which is now the Willard Weekly Primary School. And we were in class together at BVI High School. And that hit me. So from there, I started writing about every social problem. And then it led to when Carl Dawson left, me becoming the sports writer and then branching off into these other things. But a lot of the stuff I do, really, I only saw myself being a writer and a photographer, nothing else. But then Rodney Herbert, I got to give all credit to Rodney Herbert for seeing me doing sports and then giving me the opportunity to do that. And I also have to thank from 90.9 FM where I do the show, you know. They gave me the opportunity to do a lot of other things, like do reports from abroad. When I go to cover Carifta, I've gone. I was in Jamaica one year, and I heard at the checking in from Japan, the World Championships was in Osaka, and I'm like, God, I would like BVI athletes to reach that point where we could do that. So in 2018 was the first time now I started covering athletes. I go to something, because what happened is when your athletes compete, you don't hear their voices. The television and stuff only feature
their countries
and the people who win. And
yes.
No, I want you to be able to hear your athlete so I am that link between. So I'm not sure. The only thing I would change, since 2012 I've been encouraging people to follow in my footsteps, but nobody wants to read. Nobody wants to write. So if you don't read and you don't write, you can't get into journalism.
And this is the age of AI. Back when you would have started, writing has become super easy. Just put your thoughts there and it writes for you. I don't do it. I have not.
I can't stand AI.
I haven't.
I was telling my daughter, come in here. I came from the era of floppy disk.
Yes, and the big camcorders.
Okay, I came from that, you know, recording where when you record on a cassette, you make a mistake, you got to go splice it. Now I do all of that, and I make a mistake, I go in a computer, cut and paste, and I do. Yes. You produce something. You know how much time you put your voice. So I have learned a lot of things which I would like to share with people, because to me, this is freedom as far as I'm concerned. I didn't get into this to make money. I got into this for my sanity and my retirement. So what I did is, all the years I worked in government, I was doing my retirement job as I worked. So when I left, the only thing is I stopped doing that, but my retirement job continues because I was already doing it. I was seasoned into it. I have added certain dimensions like the coverage of when our athletes go to Carifta. I was supposed to go to the Olympics, but I didn't take the vaccine, and then there was so many restrictions as to where you could.
Yeah, that era was not the best of it.
I decided not to go, but I was able to get the information. So I'm able to host the Sports Beat magazine, and from things with what I host there, because now they have an in-depth interview, just talking with people. So I'm able to pull stuff from that I can use for Zerat Sport. You talk about that content?
Yeah.
You gotta find a way to get the content.
It. Yes,
right. And
yes.
you have things that, ladies and gentlemen, you call shelf life.
Yes. There are some things they can hold.
The other day, I'm president of the BVI Olympians Association. I was in Lausanne, Switzerland at the Olympic House. But my program aired. I had an interview with Robert McTavius, who is one of our first athletes to high jump over 6 feet, long jump over 20. I featured that as part of my stuff. I did an interview a while ago, but it had shelf life.
It had, yeah, it's just like, you know, just the other day, last week, Monday it was, and we observed 4 parents.
Yeah, the heroes and 4 parents.
Heroes and 4 parents. I had 2 interviews that I recorded, I think it was 2 years prior, with 2 seniors in the, I forget what the challenge name again was, they're going to kill me. But we never used it because we didn't get to do Virgin Gorda and Tortola features with the kids who were doing the interview with grandparents. But it came in so handy and so hard.
People must have think you did it last week.
You understand it? And the beautiful thing about that, those 2 seniors were still alive.
Exactly.
And so, so some things carry some shelf life and they hold through. But as you go into that era of retirement and you talk a little bit about what you would love to be doing and how you schedule yourself. Now, if someone is to sit you down and say, hey, we want to make sure that you have a really good income during your retirement with the things that you love, but I'm going to give you 3 areas and you pick one that you will center on, and we will make sure that you have that platform to present it where you can earn, because you need money to continue to live. Okay, so we're going to give you politics, we're going to give you sports, and we're going to give you current affairs. Which one will you pick?
Then there's no choice. There is no choice. I have been invited to all kind of political every year. Every election, people ask me. I have no interest in politics. Never had. What I do now with social media, I was doing years ago, writing about the same things when people used to read. You didn't have these mediums and these platforms. So it would seem like, and people say, I'm against the government. I want to see betterment for all. It's just like what I push in sports. I know what can happen. I have been the first athlete to win a Carifta Games medal, the first to win a CAC Championships medal. I got an athletic scholarship based on my ability. So I am just trying to provide opportunities and highlight other people. And that can't change. And the beauty about sports, everybody is happy.
Everybody happy.
Doesn't matter your political persuasion, your age, race, whatever. We all want to know how sportsmen and women are doing. Yeah. And the sportsman has been doing it for 30 years, telling you what our sportsmen are doing.
Yeah, but you can still dash in some current affairs or when they send you some clips of the potholes and the cultural things that are happening.
No, I love my culture. Yeah. No. I think a lot of people don't realize my interest in culture because growing up, I grew up in my grandmother. I was born in St. Thomas, but I grew up in my grandmother. I live next door to Jenny Wheatley. Me and Sam Davis, basically every Saturday, we used to go out to Red Rock. We'll get bread from Jenny because she cook early in the morning. We go out with our bread and we got potato and rice and we got to catch the fish. So we'll catch either conchs, wilks, shellfish or fish. And we do our cooking out there. So I've been into that kind of thing. So I mix sports and culture. So that's why I came up with the Facebook page, VI Sports and Culture, because both are my interests. So you are going to often see things that, how I find the stories, I hear something and I go and go ask. I put out something, I ask people, because I think there was a time I used to ask before I got into radio, like, how people find all this information? And now I realize that
communication. Communication is a big part of finding stuff. You hear something, I see something. People know that you're into this, and they give you a buzz. This happening. And reading.
Reading.
To find a lot of stuff.
I just found a guy who does plat the coconut fecks. He does make things out of them. I met him. I saw something on Facebook, and I called the number, and I end up with my arm thing on it.
Exactly, and it happens a lot. You see somebody make a post. Oh, this is interesting. You DM them.
Or sometimes you see some. I mean, I might see something coming up. Okay, a good example. Virgin Gorda, there is a teachers versus teachers volleyball tournament. The teachers from Robinson O'Neill, Brigado, Flax Primary and Secondary, and Siboney. Some of the other schools ain't competing this year. But I make sure I cover and get their information out. So I am always looking for information. But I think the biggest problem we have in sports is persons who call themselves public relations officers don't understand their role. You are to highlight, promote the activities of your association, the athletes. Who are your star athletes coming up? Whether they're young, we can't wait to who's already established. Who is coming up? Who do we need to look at? People complain that, they put something on Facebook. I said, but did you use all the medium? Did you use radio? Did you call JTV? Did you put the information out there? So you are saying people aren't coming to your event, but did you hype up? Who are the key teams matching up tonight? Who are players on those teams we need to see? What are the rivalries? So if people don't understand those, you're a public relations officer for a sport, and you don't understand it. I am trying to get the information from you. You don't give it to me. All I can report is what you give me.
Because you're a journalist. You're not their PR person.
Exactly.
You are a journalist.
I ask so I can tell you. So what I can do is ask this team and ask the other team and then get them to talk about it. But still we miss the essence of key players, key matchup that need to be highlighted. And I think that, if anything else, I would like people to understand is, get information to us. If you don't get in, so people will tell me, well, how come I didn't do this?
You're no magician.
I can't do what I don't know.
Yep.
If information come to me and I don't use it, knock me. But if I don't have the information, I can't use it.
But as we wrap up this, the clock is on us right
Yes.
now. There was a highlight of all this that you would have said. There was a highlight to me, and that is your retirement. And you do this, what you do, for your health and your sanity.
That's it. That's it. Sadly, a lot of people have no retirement plan. I've met people, they say, oh, I take a little vacation and I gonna figure out what I'm going to do. No, you need to plan your retirement from early so you know what you are going to do when you retire. I knew that I was going to be writing. Rodney Herbert helped me get into radio. So 30 years later, I added that component to it. But I'm still in journalism, but I'm being a sportscaster. So November 1st, 1994, I debuted. November 1st, 2024, I'm still there.
Nice, nice. Oh, well, we look forward to seeing you continue to enjoy retirement, senior years, doing your thing out on the beach, being happy, while still being engaged in the thing that you love so much. For me, it's a hobby. For you, it seems to be a hobby for you, too.
Listen, I always tell people, I don't know if this journalism ever come a job, whether I would like it or not. Because it's a hobby for me. I do things, even though I'm doing it, I do things on my time. I know I put a schedule, I decide what games I gonna cover or whatever. Depending on the teams, I say, well, okay, let me show up at this time. It's a hobby, it ain't a job.
Yeah, but it's just a hobby.
It's a hobby.
Continue to enjoy. We're here watching you.
Thank you.
And the name will live on for a very, 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 very long time. Dean, the sportsman, Greenaway. Congratulations. And you too can celebrate yourself.
Yes.
Celebrate your accomplishments where you're at. And remember, the key thing in this that Dean would have said today, do it for the love, do it for your health, and do it for your sanity. Dean, thank you so much for stopping by, and I want to thank you for the pleasure of your time. I'm Kathy Richards with this edition of The Big Story.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Are you searching for new home decor items that reflect the season's latest trends? Look no further than Right Way Home. From cushion sets to decorative vases, we have unique pieces to suit every style and budget. Discover your right find at the right price, only at Right Way Home and Right Way Stores.